Good evening, everyone. Chris Schultz, FridayNightVictors.com, along with Gary Hoff. How you doing today, Gary?
Outstanding.
All right. We're going to do our picks for Week 5, I guess it is.
Halfway done.
Halfway done.
For some teams.
Yeah, for some teams. So we're gonna jump right into our picks right away. I've got my glasses here. Let's go Bedford, Ann Arbor, Pioneer. I believe these teams are playing on Saturday in the afternoon. I'm not sure why. That's just what the schedule says. What are your thoughts there? Anything you want to talk about? Or you just want to make a pick?
Well, quickly, Pioneer came off a big win last week versus Monroe. We kind of thought Monroe was going to win that game. Pioneer showed up and played well. But I'm not betting against Bedford. They're well coached.
They rushed for over 400 yards.
Yeah, there's
400 yards.
Yeah, and they defend well too. So I'm taking Bedford and 2 touchdowns or something.
I'm going to go with Bedford as well. I think it'll be a little bit closer than maybe we thought originally, but I think Bedford wins that game, and I think they run the ball virtually every play. Next game is also on Saturday, and I think it's a Saturday afternoon game again. There must be something going on in the SEC on Friday or something to where they switch those games to Saturday. But we've got Monroe at Ann Arbor, Huron. Thoughts on that?
I like Monroe, Ann Arbor, Huron. They're just kind of inexplicable why they can't put a football team together.
They might be the worst program in the state right now, and we don't say that to criticize them. They're good in everything else.
Right.
Just not football.
For their size, I'm not sure they could beat any Huron League teams, and they're 2,000 students. At one point, they were 3,000.
They cannot beat any Huron League team.
So yeah, I like Monroe in a rout.
I do too. So a pretty easy pick there. All right, let's jump into let's go Southgate Anderson at Gibraltar Carlson. This may be a little bit of a test for the Marauders. Thoughts there?
I think Anderson lost last week.
Yeah, they're 2-2.
They lost last week. A little bit surprising. I like Gibraltar. They were in a contest with Melvindale last week.
Well, the Melvindale kid threw for 300 and some yards.
Right.
He's that good. He's a very good quarterback.
Yes, but Carlson, I don't think they're going to have any trouble in Down River League until the big matchup versus Wyandotte in Week 8. I'm going Carlson.
Yep, I'll go Carlson as well. I don't think, I don't think Southgate can stop Carlson. Right. Southgate might be able to score, but they won't stop Carlson.
I think Carlson can put 40 on anybody in the Down River League.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. Okay, let's go to our next game. Would be Hudson at Erie Mason.
Hudson is, we've been saying it, small ball, right? Division 5, 6,
They're
7.
going back to Ford Field.
Yeah, they're as good a program as there is in small ball. This year's no different. In the full house tee, they're just always very good. Mason, building for the future in Mason, but this is a tough game for Erie Mason. I'm taking Hudson.
Yeah, I'm going to take Hudson too. It's just, they're at opposite end of the spectrum.
Right.
I know Coach Buju wants to get Erie Mason to where Hudson is, and I wouldn't bet against him. He's got that type of dedication. It's just going to be down the road, I think. But I'm going to go with Hudson as well. This is a big game in the Huron League where the Pirates of Riverview will be traveling to Airport to play the Jets, a battle of 3-1 teams. Both teams 2-1 in the Huron League. Pivotal game.
Yeah, a lot of comments about Airport on the blog from their fans and from other teams' fans. So Airport is getting a lot of love and on the blog. Well-deserved love, absolutely. The Cartier kids, 3-1. Their season starts now, though. They had a great first half. Now they're really start getting the tough games, and this is where it kicks off right here. Riverview is playing the best of anybody in the Huron League right now, in my opinion. In the last 2 games, for sure. I'm taking Riverview. They're just on a different level right now to me.
Okay, this is a tough one because Flat Rock beat Riverview, and it was because of Flat Rock had more speed than Riverview. Airport's faster than Flat Rock is.
Yes. They've
got some burners. That should give Riverview some problems. However, I was blown away last week at how Riverview played, and you saw it the week before on what they've got going on. Now they are on the road, but I'm going to go with Riverview in that game. I think it'll be a close one. I think it could come maybe a couple of points. For whatever reason,
Right.
you lose a point somewhere along the line.
Right.
That could be the difference in the game.
Well,
I think it'll be a good
If
game.
it's a close game in the end, Airport's used to that, and they might pull it out in the end. So their MO is just to hang in there and see what happens.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. All right. Next, we've got Flat Rock, who's playing really well. They're traveling over to the island to play Growz. Tough place to play. This isn't a gimme for Flat Rock.
No, there's no gimmies over there. They're going to be prepared. Growz's always prepared. And I like Flat Rock, though. Nice win against SMCC. Well coached. They're going to be ready to play. They're not going to have a letdown. I like Flat Rock.
I'm going to go with Flat Rock as well. I think they win that game. I do think it'll be close, though. 20-14, 21, something like that, maybe 28-20, somewhere in there. I think it's going to be a close game. All right, who else we got here? We've got Jefferson is traveling to Milan. Milan is officially down to 20 players now, it sounds like, although they're 20 pretty talented players. And they've got Jesse Hoskins, and you've got Gene Janot looking for his first win. Almost had it last week.
Yeah.
In the Jefferson Bears going over to Milan. Thoughts on that game?
I'm not going to pick against Milan. But, the Bears are hungry. They tasted victory, nearly. They had to win. They were winning in the last seconds of the game. But I'm not going to go against Milan. I don't think the Bears get their first win of the year against Milan. But, that would be tough.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Milan as well, although I'm going to say I think it's going to be a close game. I think it'll be a really close game.
Yeah, Milan's 2-2. They're not world beaters right now. We had Milan tabbed as this great. Well, they're 2-2.
Right.
So, Jesse Hoskins is going to have his. He's going to have to get the ship steered in the right direction, and he can do that.
And I think the key for them is Milan just looked tired against Riverview last week, and rightfully so, because Riverview was just bringing it. But they can't have that this week against Jefferson. Or they're hungry. They want that first win.
That's right.
So next game on the schedule is a game you will be calling in New Boston, and that is the SMCC Homeboys are traveling to play Huron. Big game. This is that last game of that tough 5-game stretch for the Falcons, going over to play the Chiefs, who are 4-0, undefeated. There'll be a big crowd as usual over there.
Right, yeah. Big game for Huron. They always get up for SMCC. They could have had some wins in the past. I know they won one recently, but they could have
had one last year. They got that win.
But they could have had a couple other ones in the last 5-10 years as well. But the bugaboo always got them versus CC. They got that bugaboo off their back last year.
I always thought it was the curse.
The curse, yeah. But yeah, they you know what? I'm taking my Falcons. First time all year, if I'm correct. Wow. I'm taking my Falcons.
Wow.
Super soft back, Sam Cousineau. I think they get Duval back, and they didn't have any injuries this week. So that's always huge in today's football. So I think they come in as healthy as they've ever been, and they go into Huron and surprise the undefeated Chiefs.
Wow, that's
surprised.
I don't even know what to say.
I can't pick
Gary picked the Chiefs to win the league.
Yeah.
Now he's going against them.
Well, they'd still be in
Did
first
you go
place.
to Mass this week? What's going on?
They'd still be
here?
in first place if they lose this game here. Although it'd be a tie.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So maybe you know something I don't know.
That's really.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Huron wins that game and they move to 5-0, and then it gets real tough for them with some of the teams they got coming up.
And it gets a little easier
when they
for
go
the Falcons.
Milan, Riverview,
Yeah.
Flat Rock. Okay, and then our last game. I think that's everybody. Our last game is going to be the Gerwick Nissan game of the week, which is going to be the Ida at Dundee, and we're going to give our picks on this, but we are going to let you know that we got some special coverage. We're going to bring in someone who's going to talk about the game, but we're going to give our picks first. So your thoughts on this? I think this will be a great game.
Great matchup. That's why it's the Gerwick Nissan game of the week. I like Dundee in a very, very close game, hard-fought game, kind of a backyard brawl. There's a name for this rivalry. I can't remember what it is. Something like backyard brawl. So they have a name for it. We'll find out what the name is on our next video we do with our special guest. But I like Dundee in a hard-fought, emotional, spirited, close game.
I'm going to say the same thing.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Dundee.
I thought you were going Ida.
No, I'm going to go Dundee.
Okay.
And I'm blown away that Ida gave up 46 points last week.
I was too.
You don't win many games like that.
Yeah. They came back and almost tied that game.
They did. Yeah, they almost came back and won that game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Dundee. So anyway, let's go over to our special guest who's going to talk about the game. Well, hey, Chris Schultz here. I traveled all the way out to Dundee to talk to someone who has a unique perspective on the Gerwick Nissan Game of the Week, which is Ida at Dundee, and that is Frank Vashner. Is that correct?
Yep.
All right. He is the director of social media for the football and basketball programs here at Dundee High School, but he's also a 2007 graduate of Ida High School. Frank, thanks for joining us on the show.
I appreciate you having me on here, Chris.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about the game, and why don't we just, we've got Dundee 2-2, hosting Ida, who's 3-1. Why don't we talk about the Dundee Vikings first, coached by Kyle McElvaney. Give us your thoughts on the Vikings.
Well, for Dundee, on the offensive side of the ball, I mean, they obviously run out of the T formation with Coach Mack being a Jack Giarmo disciple. I mean, he's very detail-oriented. But for them, the centerpiece of the offense happens to be Ben Miller, who I like to think of as a poor man's Le'Veon Bell. I mean, he's built the same way. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, and he's very good at getting those yards after contact and getting those tough yards as well. But it's not just Ben. You also have Cole Sallin being the quarterback, who he can make plays as well, running the ball out of the pocket, and he can throw it as well. As in a game against Hillsdale, he had a couple of touchdown passes in that game. And there's other backs in the stable too, like George Sallin, who's a slasher, and some say that he's probably the fastest guy on the team. He was a state qualifying sprinter in track.
Okay, I remember seeing him at the regional. Yes, okay.
And then Austin Gabriel is another solid running back who can get some speed out of the backfield and catch the ball as well. And then on the offensive line, it all starts with Callum Lewis, the center. To me, he is the leader of the line. He's the guy who calls out all the plays, calls out all the assignments, and he's the senior captain as well.
Okay. All right. How about you got anybody else on the line, or you want to switch over to defense?
I'll talk. Well, on the defensive line, the name everyone's been talking about has been Austin Schultz, who didn't even play football last year, mind you.
No relation to me, but hey, all right.
Yeah.
Big kid.
Oh yeah, but what if I told you that he's actually slimmed down?
Okay.
Yeah, because he was kind of big during basketball season last year, and this summer he really worked hard and slimmed down to work on his low post game. And he came out for football as well, and through the first few games, he has been very disruptive up front. I mean, the first game at Airport, he had a tackle for a safety in the end zone, and then the second game, he had a sack and a fumble recovery.
Okay.
So he's really been generating a lot of attention.
Okay.
I wouldn't be shocked to see him get some recognition on the all-region team at the end of the year.
Okay.
But other guys on the defense who are very good, obviously Ben Miller, he's been racking up some tackles at linebacker. Cal McAvoy, who in the loss to Hudson actually tied the school record for tackles in a game with 28.
Oh my gosh.
And Cal has been the middle linebacker of the defense. He's been basically the leader.
Okay.
And also you have guys like Zach Belair on the defensive line, who's a state champion wrestler and been getting a lot of Division I attention there from colleges. And then in the secondary, Timmy Van, the safety who had to step in and replace Jared Layton. He's another senior captain. I mean, he did a great job calling out all the checks at the line of scrimmage and directing traffic back there. So those are really the guys you got to watch on the defensive side. And
okay. How about special teams?
Well, special teams, Carter Scott is a very solid kicker. I mean, he's actually made one field goal this year from 25 yards out, and I believe he's only missed a couple extra points, but he's been very solid, been real good with kickoffs, though. I really like what I see out of him.
Okay. All right. So that's Dundee. Tell us a little bit about the Ida Blue Streaks, and I know you've got to be a little divided on this, but you are at Dundee now, so I get that. First year coach Jeff Potter doing a nice job. What can you tell us about the Blue Streaks?
Well, this is a team I've been kind of surprised with how well they've done, given that they lost a ton to graduation, including their all-time leading rusher Nick Levicki, who has graduated, and of course he had to step into some big shoes last year, replacing an all-stater in Eric Bugg.
Okay.
But they've got 3 very solid running backs with Jake Wellnow, who I believe is their leading rusher, and Sam Brettschneider, who is very solid. Bryce Holmes didn't play football last year, but he's a sprinter on the track team.
And he's having a good year. He's racking up a lot of yards.
Oh yes, he is. I mean, they're more. Those guys are more speed backs too, but so I'm going to be interested to see how well they do getting tough yards. But I'll talk more about that later. I mean, their quarterback Clay Sampson, and he steps in to replace Kyle Gunn, who graduated, and through the first 2 games, he's been very solid as well. I mean, he can sling the ball a little bit here and there too. But I mean, these are 2 teams that are primarily 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Sure. Okay.
And then, to me, Ida's got a highly underrated tight end combo with Tommy Colbert and Paul DeRocher. I mean, they're guys who can run block and get the help seal the edge for somebody, but also they can catch the ball as well. They've got good hands as well, so I think that's something that Dundee is going to have to be aware of. And on the defensive side of the ball, well, obviously, Tommy has been leading the team in interceptions from what I've been told. Zach Stein is somebody who had a pick 6 earlier this year. And then there are 3 returning offensive linemen who were pretty much their only returning starters on offense.
But you win with line play.
Yeah, I want to talk Jake Campbell and Mike Clark. I mean, they're both very good in the trenches. And Matt Zlonkevich, he's the middle linebacker of that defensive position, which his older brother Mike played a couple of years ago. Oh, and Matt's essentially the same as his brother. He's very smart. He can read the play. He calls out all the assignments, hence to the guys tell him where to go. So I mean, it's almost like they lost some guys, but the guys they had come back got some experience, and it seems like they keep like Allstate, they're in good hands.
Okay, very good. So, keys to the game. What can you tell us, Frank?
Well, for as long as I can remember, this has been a game that is won at the line of scrimmage.
Sure.
In the trenches. Who controls the line better, or who can open the holes for your running backs? I mean, who can stuff the run? I mean, I have watched many Dundee and Ida game where it's all come down to line play, especially at key moments in the game.
Sure.
And also, who can bring the hammer on offense? I mentioned Ida's running backs. They're more speed backs. I mean, you don't have a true bruiser like a Nick Levicki or an Eric Bugg there anymore. So, to me, who's going to be that guy who tries to get those tough yards between the tackles? I mean, I mentioned Eric Bugg. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Kareem Hunt, who played at Toledo,
sure,
is now with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I mean, that's why I think Dundee could have an edge, because Ben Miller is that guy who is the hammer.
Sure. Okay.
And then which defense is also most physical as well? Because I mean, you're gonna have teams that are cheating up, trying to stop the run. In fact, I mentioned Zach Belair, state champion wrestler, but there are other guys on the defense as well that are wrestlers. Kyle Reinhart for Dundee, he's another good wrestler. So, and plus Timmy Van can definitely bring the wood from the safety position.
Okay.
And their linebackers, Cal McAvoy, another state champion wrestler. I mean, like I said, he tied the school record for tackles last week. I think he could be in for another big game against another team that loves to ground it and pound it.
Okay. All right. Well, there you have it. There's a preview of the game. I don't think Frank wants to make a pick. Gary and I have, obviously we make ours every week. But Frank, thanks for taking the time to meet with us and talk
My
about
pleasure.
the game. And maybe we can get you back on the show again. I'm sure you'll be doing some of your Facebook Live after the game.
Absolutely.
Kind of a wrap-up show with
Oh.
maybe one of the coaches.
Yeah, and hopefully a couple of players as well.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks again for being on with us. We're going to go back to Gary and myself down in Gary's basement. Thanks, everyone. All right. Well, there you have it. A big thanks to our special guest, Frank, who gave us the breakdown on the Ida Dundee game. He's the man who's does all the
First on the field report for Dundee.
yeah, social media director for Dundee Schools, yet an Ida graduate.
Yeah.
Boy, so we were very happy we were able to get him in there and get his insight. I think I won the picks last week.
7-3, 6-4. Is that right?
I think you were 6-4. I was 7-3. Victory for me. Not a big surprise. Anyways, let's talk about sponsors real quick. Thanks to our sponsors.
Yeah.
Why don't you give a shout out to everybody?
Sure. How about Gerwick Nissan? Thank you very much. Again, I just bought a car for them, leased a car from them.
Gary's going rogue.
I went
Nice.
rogue. Nissan Rogue, top-notch service over at Gerwick Nissan. Cannot say enough about them. Thank you. And Little Vince's hot dog stand in Point-a-Pole, Newport. Mondays, Dollar Dog Day. Go check them out. Feed your whole family.
I love hot dogs.
Yeah. Chili dogs. They're amazing. And
Did
who
you know
else?
they call those Michigans out east?
Do
Chili
they
dogs.
really? Oh,
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we call them a coney dog here or whatever, and
Michigans.
they call them Michigans out east.
I didn't
I go
know.
out east every summer, and yeah, they call them Michigans. Strange thing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And how about Quality Inn? Our polls up for Quality Inn Performance of the Week. It's doing outstanding. We're getting tons of
we're getting
views.
so many people checking that out. So.
In the last 4 days alone, now we've had nearly 18,000 views. Potential future sponsors out there. 18,000 views in the last 4 days. A lot of it's been the voting for Quality Inn Quality Performer of the Week. So please check it out. And who else we got? Larson's Bar and Grill.
Man, go get a burger.
Yeah, go get
Burgers
a
are
burger.
good.
I go there at least once a week or so. Stop in, say hello to everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this out to the Huron people who live in Huron Township. We got a couple great places for burgers down there. Larson's is better.
Really?
Yeah, you're gonna want to come out and check out this burger.
Better than Iron Mike's?
Tell them.
I don't know why is Iron. You haven't done your job. How Iron Mike's is not one of our sponsors? I don't know. Huron's 4-0.
I'm not selling ads. I'm the
Football-
talent. I'm the talent.
Football
You're supposed to be
Frenzy.
the guy selling.
Football
so.
Frenzy in New Boston. We don't have Iron Mike. What's the other one? McNasty's.
McNasty's in the heart of downtown New Boston.
Well, they're McNasty to me.
I don't want to mention them because they're not sponsors, but anyway.
We'll give them some love.
Giving
That
them
was
some
free.
free love.
That was free.
So, and then we got Level Up Training, John Carabino.
Yeah, always does a great job. Trained
Tons of kids.
Tons of kids in the Huron League and around Monroe area. So give John Carabino a call at Level Up Training for all ages, not just kids, us, old guys. If they want to lose some weight, he'll get the job done.
All right, so, well, that's the show. FridayNightVictors.com, our weekly picks. That was the Week 5 picks at 8:34 in the evening.
Yep, still 8:34. That son of a gun. I wound it. It won't move. I wound it. I tried to get it going. It was moving. It stops there every time.
It looks like a new clock, too.
It's a different clock. I don't understand
That's
it.
scaring me.
Yeah.
So, anyways, thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate it. FridayNightVictors.com.